Chosen one, there is an urgency stirring in your spirit that cannot be ignored. If you have felt an inner pressure to move, adjust, prepare, or let go, this message is confirmation that what you are sensing is real. Spiritual seasons do not announce themselves loudly. They reveal themselves through promptings, restlessness, and divine discomfort. God moves in appointed times, and when a shift approaches, He begins to awaken His people from spiritual delay. This is not the hour for hesitation. This is the hour for awareness. Heaven is signaling that change is near, and preparation determines whether you rise with it. Many believers miss moments of elevation because they mistake transition for trouble. When God prepares to move you forward, He often disrupts what feels familiar. Comfort becomes tight. Old routines lose satisfaction. Certain relationships no longer align. This is not loss, it is alignment. Throughout history, God's chosen vessels were always prepared before promotion. Nothing about elevation is accidental. When the time came for Joseph to rise, the preparation had already shaped him. When leadership was required, the internal work was complete. What appeared like delay was actually development. The same pattern is active in your life now. Spiritual seasons are not random cycles. They are intentional phases designed to build, prune, reveal, and release. Some seasons stretch your faith. Others test your obedience. Some expose areas that must be healed before expansion can occur. When winter-like seasons linger, many assume God has withdrawn, yet often He is refining focus and strengthening endurance. Growth does not stop when things feel quiet. Roots deepen in unseen places. What you are becoming matters just as much as what you will carry. God has always worked through timing. Doors open when preparation meets obedience. History shows that those who discerned their season and acted decisively stepped into influence, while those who delayed remained stuck repeating the same lessons. Spiritual awareness is a responsibility. When God highlights a shift, responding late can mean walking extra laps around the same mountain. This is why discernment matters now more than ever. You are not behind. You are being summoned to move with precision. As seasons change, resistance often increases. Transition attracts pressure because the enemy understands timing even when people ignore it. Moments of advancement are frequently accompanied by doubt, fatigue, distraction, or fear. These are not signs to retreat. They are signals to stay alert. When Jesus was preparing to step fully into public purpose, resistance came swiftly, testing identity, trust, and obedience. That pattern remains consistent. Before elevation, voices rise attempting to confuse direction and weaken resolve. Recognizing this keeps you from internalizing opposition as personal failure. Spiritual warfare is not always loud. Sometimes it appears as procrastination, uncertainty, or emotional heaviness without a clear source. Other times it shows up as comfort that tempts you to stay where you are instead of stepping where you are called. Warfare during seasonal change is subtle because the goal is delay, not destruction. The enemy does not need to stop you if he can slow you. That is why acting promptly when clarity comes is essential. Obedience shortens battles. This is also a season of self-discovery. Pressure reveals purpose. When familiar structures shift, identity is clarified. Many discover their true strength when former supports fall away. God uses seasons to expose what has been hidden within you. Skills rise, vision sharpens, confidence grows quietly. You may notice that what once intimidated you no longer does. You may feel drawn towards new responsibilities or ideas you previously avoided. These are signs of internal expansion preparing you for external change. Consider how many leaders, reformers, and pioneers were shaped in obscurity before influence followed. Their waiting seasons refined character, discipline, and reliance on God. The waiting was not wasted. It was necessary. The same principle applies to you. This season has been teaching you endurance, discernment, and trust. What you survived has equipped you. What challenged you clarified your priorities. What felt restrictive trained your focus. nothing has been lost. Now, preparation becomes personal. Elevation requires readiness, not just desire. Spiritual growth demands participation. Prayer is not passive, it aligns your timing with God's. Reflection brings clarity. Writing down insights, impressions, and recurring themes allows you to see patterns God has been revealing over time. Many answers are already present, waiting for attention. God often speaks repeatedly because preparation requires confirmation. Releasing what no longer belongs is also part of readiness. Forgiveness is not optional in seasons of advancement. Bitterness weighs down destiny. Letting go of emotional clutter creates room for new assignments. This includes habits, mindsets, and even expectations that were formed in previous seasons but no longer serve your future. God does not add without first making space. Clearing room is an act of faith. Action is the bridge between awareness and manifestation. Faith responds. When clarity comes, movement follows. This does not mean reckless decisions. It means intentional steps aligned with prayer. Apply, begin, speak, prepare. Many wait for perfect conditions that never come. In Scripture, obedience often preceded visible provision. Steps taken in faith created pathways for miracles to unfold. The same spiritual principle holds true now. Chosen one, this is not a message of pressure, but of positioning. You are not being rushed, you are being readied. God is inviting you to move with Him rather than chase Him later. What lies ahead requires the version of you being formed now. Pay attention to the nudges. Honor the unease. Respond to the clarity you already have. Your next elevation is not distant. It is approaching. If this message resonates, stay connected. Reflect deeply. Engage fully. Let this be a turning point where you choose readiness over delay and alignment over comfort. As seasons shift, discernment becomes your greatest ally. Many people pray for change, yet fail to recognize it when it arrives because it does not always appear as excitement or immediate relief. Often it arrives as instruction, correction, or a quiet inner conviction to move differently. God prepares His people internally before He changes their environment. This is why spiritual sensitivity must increase during times of transition. The more clearly you hear, the more accurately you move. Throughout sacred history, those who rose into new levels of responsibility did so because they understood timing. They did not rush ahead of God, but they also did not cling to expired seasons. Wisdom is knowing when to wait and when to step forward. Waiting without preparation leads to stagnation, while preparation without obedience leads to frustration. Alignment happens when both meet. This is where many chosen ones are being refined right now. You may notice that your tolerance for distraction has decreased. What once entertained you now drains you. Conversations that lack purpose feel heavy. This is not isolation, it is refinement. God often reduces noise before increasing direction. When your spirit becomes more selective, it is because clarity is being sharpened. This season is teaching you how to protect your focus because where you are going will demand it. Transitions also reveal motives. Why do you want elevation? Is it for recognition, comfort, or influence for good? God examines the heart before expanding reach. In history, many were delayed not because they lacked ability, but because their intentions needed purification. When purpose is rooted in service rather than self, promotion becomes sustainable. God lifts those who can carry responsibility without losing humility. Spiritual resistance often intensifies when clarity increases. This is when doubt attempts to question what God has already confirmed. Thoughts arise suggesting you are not ready, not qualified, or too late. These thoughts do not originate from truth. They are designed to disconnect you from momentum. Confidence does not come from perfection. It comes from obedience. God equips as you move, not before you move. In past generations, leaders were shaped in hidden places before public impact followed. Shepherd fields prepared kings. Quiet devotion shaped reformers. Long seasons of obscurity refined character. What seemed insignificant became foundational. Your current season may not feel impressive, but it is instructional. Every lesson learned now prevents unnecessary struggles later. Spiritual warfare during transitions requires discipline. Prayer becomes strategic rather than reactive. You are not only asking for help, you are aligning your thoughts, words, and actions with heaven's agenda. Speaking life over your future is not denial of reality, it is agreement with promise. Words shape direction. What you repeatedly declare, you eventually walk toward. This is also a season to strengthen spiritual habits. Consistency builds capacity. Daily connection with God sharpens discernment and stabilizes emotions. When routines are anchored in faith, external changes do not shake internal peace. Many fall during transitions because they abandon spiritual structure just when it is most needed. Stability in private produces authority in public. Midway through this message, take a moment to engage. Ask yourself honestly, what has God been prompting me to release, and what has He been urging me to pursue? Write it down. Reflection turns insight into action. If this message is speaking directly to your journey, share it with someone navigating change. Growth multiplies when wisdom is shared. Preparation also includes developing skills and wisdom relevant to where you are headed. Faith does not replace responsibility, it empowers it. God often instructs His people to prepare practically while trusting spiritually. Learning, planning, and improving are acts of stewardship. Many doors open when preparation meets opportunity. Excellence attracts favor. Historical figures who left lasting impact understood this principle. They studied, trained, and refined themselves during seasons others overlooked. When opportunity arrived, they were ready because preparation had already been done. You are not late, you are being positioned. What feels like delay is often divine timing protecting you from premature exposure. Another key aspect of transition is community alignment. Not everyone can follow you into your next season. Some relationships are seasonal by design. This does not diminish their value, it honors timing. God often introduces new connections aligned with future purpose. Discern who sharpens you and who drains you. Alignment accelerates growth. Emotional maturity is also tested during change. Reactions reveal readiness. When challenges arise, do you respond with trust or panic? Growth shows in how quickly you return to peace. God values resilience. Strength is not the absence of emotion, but the ability to remain anchored during pressure. Every challenge faced with faith strengthens spiritual authority. You are learning to move with intention rather than impulse. Acting fast does not mean acting carelessly, it means responding promptly when direction is clear. Delayed obedience often looks reasonable, but it quietly resists momentum. When God confirms a step, movement seals alignment. Courage grows with each act of faith. Chosen one, you are closer than you think. What you have been preparing for is preparing for you. Stay alert, stay grounded, stay responsive. This season is not meant to be endured passively, but navigated wisely. Elevation is not only about where you go, it's about who you become along the way. If this message is strengthening you, stay connected to this community. Like, share, and engage so others walking through transition can receive encouragement as well. As you step into this next phase, understand that elevation always demands responsibility. Growth is not merely about receiving more, it is about carrying more with wisdom. God does not lift carelessly, He entrusts. What He places in your hands must be stewarded with integrity, discipline, and faith. This is why preparation matters. When your character can sustain what your prayers request, promotion follows naturally. Many chosen ones underestimate the power of obedience in small actions. They wait for grand instructions while ignoring subtle guidance. Yet throughout history, the greatest transformations began with simple obedience. A decision to remain faithful, a choice to forgive, a commitment to continue when quitting felt easier. These moments may feel ordinary, but they shape destiny. God watches consistency long before He reveals outcomes. In seasons of elevation, humility becomes protection. Pride isolates, but humility attracts guidance. Those who remain teachable continue to grow. When correction comes, receive it without resistance. Correction is not rejection, it is refinement. God corrects those He intends to advance. A heart that remains open continues to receive clarity. Your voice matters in this season. Speaking with faith aligns you with purpose. Silence often results from fear of being misunderstood, yet fear cannot govern destiny. When God places truth within you, expression becomes necessary. This does not mean speaking recklessly, it means speaking with intention and wisdom. Words spoken in faith carry direction, encouragement, and strength. As you move forward, resistance may still appear. This does not mean you are off course. Resistance often confirms progress. Growth disturbs comfort zones, both yours and others. Remain anchored. Stay focused on the assignment rather than the noise. Peace becomes your compass. When peace remains, alignment remains. Community also becomes essential at higher levels. Support systems matter. God does not elevate people into isolation. He connects them with others who carry complementary strength. Remain open to divine connections. Some will challenge you, others will support you. Both are necessary. Growth flourishes where accountability and encouragement coexist. This is also the season to celebrate progress. Gratitude strengthens faith. Acknowledge how far you have come. Reflect on answered prayers. Recognize growth. Gratitude shifts focus from what is missing to what is working. Joy fuels endurance. Faith thrives where thanksgiving lives. Your journey is not accidental. Every lesson has meaning. Every delay carried purpose. Nothing was wasted. God redeems time by multiplying impact. What once felt like loss becomes wisdom. What once caused pain becomes perspective. Your story becomes testimony not only for you, but for others watching your walk. Before closing, take action. Engage intentionally. Ask yourself, what is one step I must take this week to align with where God is leading me? Action activates faith. Movement creates momentum. Do not wait for perfection. Respond to direction. Growth happens through participation. If this message has encouraged you, share it with someone who needs clarity in transition. Stay connected to this community by subscribing, engaging, and walking this journey together. We grow stronger together. Chosen one, act fast, not out of pressure, but out of purpose. The season has shifted, preparation has matured, alignment has sharpened. Step forward with confidence. God's strength goes before you, His wisdom surrounds you, and His purpose sustains you. Your elevation is not coming, it is unfolding. Stay ready, stay faithful, stay moving.